Taxation, Tax Administration and Remedial Matters Bill, third reading.
Call on Government Order of the Day number 6.
Duties of Statutory Officers, Census and Other Remedial Provisions Bill, first reading.
The Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Speaker, I move that the duties of statutory officers, Census and Other Remedial Provisions Bill be now read a first time. This bill, sir, is a very straightforward and I think practical response to two matters requiring quite urgent attention. Part 1 of the bill amends the Statistics Act to give effect to the decisions to defer the census of population and dwelling from this year to 2013. As the House will know, the census was supposed to have occurred in March of this year, sir, but after the 22nd of February devastating earthquake in Christchurch, for a number of reasons it was decided to defer the census. One, it would be very unfair to the people of Christchurch going through the recovery process to force them into doing all of the work. Secondly, there were huge dislocations of people, so the numbers would have been very distorted. But more importantly, the very hard one for us was that the actual office that does most of the census processing was based inside the red zone in Christchurch and was very, very badly damaged. Part 2 changes the Statutes Drafting and Compilations Act of 1920, an act I'm sure every member in this House reads on a regular basis to keep themselves... Yes, I understand that. The Statutes Drafting and Compilation Act 1920 to enable the Chief Parliamentary Counsel to delegate his or her functions, responsibilities, duties and powers. Both of these matters need to be attended to in a timely fashion.
Why?
Part 1 of the bill amends the Statistics Act 1975. Sections 23(1) of the Statistics Act 1975 currently requires a census to be undertaken, quotes, in the year 1976 and every fifth year thereafter. The amendment contained in the bill, omitting the word 1976 and substituting 2013, removes the requirement that a census be undertaken this year, and it puts everything back onto a new time frame. The bill needs to be enacted and enforced before the end of the year if the government statistician is not to be in breach of the statutory obligation to actually have undertaken a census in this year of 2011. The bill also obviates the need for the current proclamation process, appointing the day and timing of the census by the Governor-General. The amendment enables the government statistician to appoint the day and timing by notice in the Gazette as soon as practicable after the legislation comes into force. This streamlined process is for the 2013 census only and, sir, is made in the light of public announcements already issued about the next census and will allow notification of the actual day in a more timely manner. Some members may raise questions about the nature and frequency of future censuses, or censi, I guess. Censuses, is it? Yeah, I think it is censuses. Yeah, I think it is actually. We'll have to get a definition later. Censuses or censi. I have asked the same question, sir. Is it right for, in this modern day of information technology and information processing, is a 5-year cycle the right way to stay? It's a question I've asked. We don't know the answer. So I want to make it clear to members that this bill does nothing to preclude further considerations of how often and how we might undertake a census after the 2013. This one is just for the 2013 and getting us back onto a 5-year track. Statistics New Zealand is currently completing its Stage 2 business case, tomorrow's official population and social statistics, to provide Cabinet with a range of longer-term options, and they will be considered. Part 2 of this bill, sir, amends the Statutes Drafting and Compilation Act of 1920. The proposal to modernise the delegation powers of the Chief Parliamentary Counsel is in line with the recommendations of the Law Commission, is consistent with the general position of Chief Executives under the State Sector Act 1988. Members will note that the amendment is achieved by inserting 3 new sections after Section 8A of the Statutes Drafting and Compilation Act of 1920. These sections deal with delegation of functions, responsibilities, duties or powers, absence or incapacity of Chief Parliamentary Counsel or vacancy, and revocation of delegations. This bill meets two well-established needs. Legislation is needed to change the requirement to hold the census from 2011 to 2013. The Chief Parliamentary Counsel needs an express power of delegation to enable the PCO to be effectively managed during the period of his secondment in the United Kingdom. It is appropriate that this bill be considered under urgency, and through all stages, sir, I recommend this bill to the House.
Question is that the motion be agreed to. Raymond Ho.